If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh Elahi, the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi and welcome to another episode of The Property Rebel with your host Arsh Elahi. And in today's session, we're going to be talking about the best ways to target motivated sellers and how to structure that deal so it creates a win-win scenario. Before we go on to that, I want to say a quick hello to all listeners, whether you're completely new or a seasoned listener, shall we call you, whether you've enjoyed all the sessions so far. I want to say hello and just a moment of appreciation and gratitude to say thank you for staying with me, and hopefully you enjoy the content. As always, all these sessions are a one-hit take, which means that there may be some ifs, ums and ahs. I may make some mistakes, but believe it or not, that's all right. You know, it just shows you that it's real, but more importantly, this content is not fabricated. So let's get moving on. Motivated sellers, everyone wants them. Give you a bit of a background story. I've been targeting motivated sellers for almost 19 years. So since I started out in property back in 2000, the year 2000, I've been looking at all different ways, and there isn't a way that I have not tried. So I've pretty much tried every strategy to locate motivated sellers. And I'll give you some funny stories as well. So one of the stories was that one of the strategies that I used to do was to wait for repossession hearings in courts. So literally every day at 8:45, you would see me outside the local court, so in Wolverhampton, Magistrates Court or the County Court, and I would look at the listings to see which hearings were coming up for that day. Now, just so you know, I didn't want to look for the ones that were criminal convictions. I was looking for the listings where it said something like Birmingham Midshires versus Mr. Smith or HSBC versus Mr. Smith. And what that quickly told me is that that was a repossession hearing, whether it be the first hearing, second hearing, or the eviction hearing. Either way, we knew that someone in that room there was in financial difficulty. And I did this for almost like a year, and we picked up to a load of deals. Now, how it went was that I knew that there was a hearing. So you got morning sessions, you got afternoon sessions. So if it's an afternoon session, you go and sit in the afternoon session. If it's morning, and what you have to do, you have to wait in the waiting room. And then when they say HSBC versus Mr. Smith, you will then go and sit in the gallery. It is a public gallery, so any members of the public can go there. Problem that they had is that I became a frequent member of the public. And the court started to ask me, just out of curiosity, what is your involvement here? Why are you sitting in on all these hearings? And I said to them, I've got a genuine interest, just understanding what's going on. And I like to understand, what's going on, how it's been dealt with. The reality with it was that I was looking to understand what was going on in that case. And then as a result of that, as soon as they came out of court, what normally happened is that Birmingham Midshires would say, Mr. Smith has not paid the mortgage for for this period, and here's the arrears. The judge said to Mr. Smith, is there any way that you can make up these arrears, or is there any way that we can stop this repossession? Mr. Smith said, sorry, I haven't got the funds to do so. So they would grant possession to HSBC. Now, what would normally happen is that the vendor would then go running out thinking, oh my God, this is becoming real. And I'm going to be evicted and I'm going to be repossessed and all my world is collapsing. I would literally almost be like the knight in shining armor. Can you imagine this? So they would just walked out the court thinking, oh my God. And I said to them, guys, I appreciate that you're going through a tough time. I've just kind of heard what's happened. I can actually help you. Because first I knew the property address because I just heard it in the court hearing. You're allowed to take notes. Second of all, I knew how much was outstanding. The thing that I didn't know is how much the property was worth. But that was all. And I said to him, guys, I can stop this immediately today, but we need to act very quickly. So within the space of a day, I could stop the repossession, I could go back in, lodge a application to stop or suspend the repossession based on the fact that they had a sale going through. I would produce a letter-headed document to confirm that I'm a buyer and I can complete within a certain period of time. I sometimes had to provide proof of funds depending on who the lender was, and it worked really well. Unfortunately, the courts, I don't know whether one of the legal team told them, whether I'd approached some of the clients outside the court, but they said, sorry guys, you can't come in if you're looking to come here for commercial gain, which I was, and I kind of understood. So that was one of the strategies. I've done leaflets, I've done magazines, I've done newspapers, I've done funeral directors, I've advertised at supermarkets, I've advertised at train stations. Now, all these strategies that I've just spoken about, they're all great strategies and they still do work. The problem with them is that they are very costly. Now, just to give you an example, back in the heyday between 2004 and 2007, we were spending the best part of 100 grand a month, £100,000 a month on a marketing budget. Yep, you heard it right, £100,000 a month. And we were pretty much in every publication within the West Midlands. So every magazine that you open, we were there. We were in the newspaper, a quarter or a half a page, 6 days a week. They don't deliver on a Sunday. So that's a local newspaper. We would then get uplifted into the free newspaper. That worked really well. So we've got the Express and Star in the West Midlands, then we've got the free uplift paper, which was the Chronicle, and it's got quite a good readership. On top of that, we were advertising at Wolverhampton Wanderers. They weren't in the Premiership then. I think they were in Division 1 when it was back then. And we had a board at the halfway line, TV facing. We also had boards at the supermarket. We had boards like the JC Decay display boards outside the train station. We sometimes advertised on some of the bus stations or the bus stops, you know, the little shelters where you can stand under. So we were very aggressive with our marketing. The only problem that we had is that we were putting ourselves out there, but we never knew when we were going to expect a call. We were sending out letters. Now, the one thing I'll say is that leaflets and letters still work. So if you're writing letters to the HMO landlords, yes, it still works. It's time intensive, it is capital intensive, but it does work. If you're sending out leaflets to people who are selling their property, it still does work. My biggest concern for it is that you've got no guarantee that that person's going to call, or if they're going to call, when they're going to call, and why they're going to call. And the reason why I say that is because how many letters do you get a day? How many letters do you read? How many leaflets do you receive a day? How many do you read and how many do you respond to? Think about this yourself. How many leaflets do you receive every day? How many leaflets do you receive every week? How many of those are you reading? How many of those are you putting to one side? More importantly, with a letter and a leaflet generally is A5 size document, which is kind of a half a A4 piece of paper. How much information are you going to put on that document? Remember, we've got to go through the AIDA marketing design, attention, interest, desire, action, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. You've got to grab their attention. You've got to generate some interest. You've got to get their desire, and you've got to get them to take action. So the action is, so my adverts were very simple. We buy property and land for cash. Can we buy yours? I kept mine very simple, very bold. It was a blue. The name of my company is WeBuyPropertiesFast.co.uk. So I've had that company for 20 years. So the name does what we say. So the name does what we say on the tin. We buy properties fast. And the slogan was, we buy property and land for cash. Can we buy yours? We kept it very simple. We'd love to speak to you. Call us on 01902. The other thing that we did, which was quite unique, is that we set up high street presence in Wolverhampton. So I've still got these offices. So I've been in these offices since 2011. We were over the road just before that, between 2004 to 2011. Was it 2011? 2007, sorry. So I've been in these offices nearly 13 years. So moving on. So we had the office, and what we started to do weekend clinics. So we used to say to people, have you got a property to sell? You're not sure, whether we're the right person for you. Why don't you come in and have a chat? So we'd have a group of people, almost like negotiators, and we'd sit them down. We'd book them in for half an hour slots to 45-minute slots, and we'd have a chat with them. And we did really well off that. Now, I'm getting to the end of this section because I want to tell you about the new way of it. So we did all that. My problem with letters is that we don't know when someone's going to open it. We don't know when they're going to respond to it. More importantly, we don't understand how they're going to react when they open that letter. Has what you've thought was going to come across well really come across that well to the end user, the homeowner? Have you caught them on a good day? Have you caught them on a bad day? And I know this because I used to send emails to solicitors to act almost like to try and act as an affiliate and say, guys, okay, we appreciate that you act for some sellers, and we also appreciate that you act for some buyers. Could we be the introducing agent, or would you like to introduce us? And as a result, we'll give you a fee. I thought I wrote the email really well. I had quite a few solicitors come back to me and say, Arsh, we don't like your email. It's very cold. We didn't think it was very good at building reports. So I had to keep going back and, re-gearing it, regenerating it. But I thought it was a good email, but they didn't. And that will be the same for leaflets, adverts and letters. Now, moving on. So we all move on with technology. How many of you are on social media? Hopefully, show of hands. I can't see you, by the way, but show of hands. I'm hoping that you're either sat in some traffic or you're at home. You'll put your hand up right now. I've been using social media, Facebook and Instagram particularly. I've started just to go into LinkedIn to target motivated sellers. Now, if you use Facebook and Instagram to its best potential, you've got every chance of hitting the right audience. Now, you can put an advert up, and creating an advert, believe it or not, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. And I say that as, although I run a prop tech company, I still don't think I'm that advanced in technology. So I set up an advert, and in my advert I set up a Facebook advert, and in that advert it says, who's your target market? What would they generally be looking online for? And I started to put it in people that were going through marital issues, relationship issues, financial issues, looking to sell a house, looking to buy a house. And I started to put this in my targeted market. I also started to put other things in, like, for argument's sake, I've created a series of adverts, one for my service accommodation unit, which I've got down in Cornwall, which I think I've already mentioned on a previous podcast. So people looking for UK holiday breaks. So I used tags like staycation. I used UK holiday break. I used Cornwall. I used all the popular destinations, and the amount of traffic that we've got from people looking to stay in our cottage as a result of that advert was phenomenal. I think I spent about £30. It's like £30 or £50 on the advert. So not a lot, and that was ad spend, and I spent that with Facebook. As a result of that, we had all these people. Now, the beautiful thing with these is that all these people contact you direct, so you're not then having to pay Airbnb or Booking.com fees. So in that respect, it works really well. You've spent a little bit on advertising, but then you've got 10, 20 leads. Off the back of that, think how much you've saved on booking fees. So that's a real big tip for you. Now, you can do this regardless of what your property strategy is. So if you rent to rent, you could put in landlords, tired landlords. So you could try and put in landlords looking for maintenance guys. You can put in all kinds of little things. So think about it. As a landlord, what do you kind of look for? Have you got Facebook ads on there advertising your room? So you could put rooms to rent. And anyone that's literally put a room to rent, if you target it correctly, when they open up their Facebook next, you're going to see an advert that says, guys, would you like a guaranteed rent? Are you sick of trying to find tenants? Are you sick of trying to deal with the maintenance? If so, call us, because we may have a guaranteed solution for you. So we're not ramming it down their throat, but we're generating the interest. What that will do, it will then go onto almost like a ClickFunnels page where they then put in their details if they were interested, and it emails at you, and then you call them, and then you go through that process. So literally, for circa between £30 and £50 per advert, you can have a phenomenal campaign. So I've got stuff out there for rent to rent for tired landlords. I've got it out for motivated sellers. And motivated sellers comes in lots of different forms. Like I said, financial hardship, relationship hardships, marital breakdowns, people that have inherited property, people who have recently passed away. And remember, COVID's a big thing for people passing away, especially the elderly. I hate to be an ambulance chaser, but unfortunately the reality is that the elderly are the most vulnerable, and as a result of that, if they do pass away, they will leave some assets, and that is a fact. So as a result, if someone leaves an asset, that means that someone's going to inherit an asset. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to keep it? They're going to rent it? They're going to generate an income? If so, would they like a guaranteed income? If they're looking to sell it, are they interested in a quick deal so that they don't have to go through the whole process and they can get their hands on the cash quickly? So can you see there's lots of different angles there? One thing I would say is, utilize the technology that you've got, embrace the technology. For argument's sake, to put out a load of letters, each letter, realistically, the stamp is going to cost you the best part of 50 to 60 pence. I can't remember last time I sent a letter. Then you've got the piece of paper. Then you've got the envelope. So it's going to cost you the best part of £1 per letter. If you're then having to go off land registry and find the owner's details because you've only got the property details at the moment, that's going to cost you an extra £3. So in theory, the letter is going to cost you the best part of £5 for one letter. However, within £50, I can actually generate a number of leads literally from one advert. So I can generate, approximately 10, 20 leads off £50 as opposed to £5 off one letter. And that one letter, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a call from that one letter. I've got to put the caveat, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a lead from your Facebook advert. But you've got a much better chance, you've got a much higher reach of social media because let's face it, everyone's there. If you have to find something, where do you go? I don't know about you, but when I'm looking for stuff now, one of the first places that I look, I try and ask for referrals from Facebook, or I go onto Facebook Marketplace. Now Facebook tracks all that. And it says Arsh looked for this. Therefore Arsh is interested in this. Therefore the next time that Arsh logs in, I'm going to stick an advert right under Arsh's nose for this. So all we're working with technology and the algorithms, and we're making it work for us. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the session. Hopefully you've taken a lot out of it. There's a lot of key golden knowledge there. Feel free to get in touch. If you like the thought of that, please share it with your friends. Please share the podcast with all your friends. As always, if you want, you can connect with me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as Twitter, all under the name of Arsh Elahi. More importantly, have you downloaded the Property Investor app? It's the UK's first property investment marketplace which showcases all kinds of property investment deals, and these include below market value deals, rent-to-rent deals, lease option deals, service accommodation deals, not to name a few. We've got a new update coming out shortly within the next couple of weeks, which will allow you to upload your deal onto the platform, and this is going to be a game changer. If you haven't already done so, go and download the Property Investor app. If you've got a smartphone, go to the App Store and type in Property Investor, and it'll be there. It takes 2 minutes to register, and you can have all the deals in the palm of your hand within the space of a couple of minutes, and it's completely free. If you don't like using smartphones, you can go to our website, which is www.propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, and all the deals are right there on your screen. As always, guys, I want to say thank you for listening, and I wish you all to be safe, well, and happy in these testing times. Speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye.
The large majority of people make a positive change if they take immediate action. So act now. Download the Property Investor app and join Arsh on his social media channels to excel your property journey.